So there's this thing called the Batman effect, and for those of you who don't know, it's the layman's term for having an alter ego. Now, I've had one since I was a kid, so I naturally assumed that everybody else had one until recently when I was asking a few people and they claimed they don't. So I wanted to make this video because I'm genuinely curious as to how many people out there either don't have an alter ego or maybe you do. Or maybe you do, but you're too ashamed to speak about it. If you belong to that last group, I get it. It's hard to speak about having an alter ego without sounding bipolar. And the first question out of people's mouths is usually about your authenticity. If you claim that this alter ego is still a version of you, then how come it can't turn up all the time? And that's a good question. And I haven't been able to come up with a stillman argument as to why my alter ego can't turn up 24/7. So I'm genuinely curious as to how, if there's anybody else out there who has an alter ego, why you created it, how it's evolved over time, and where you use it. My story is very simple, man. In my last video, I was talking about how I was raised without expectations and guidance and all that stuff. And so I tended to find myself in a lot of situations where I felt unsure and didn't know how to navigate them. And so what I did was I created this version of myself, the coolest version I could think of, based on the prominent action figures of the time, which were Van Damme, Chuck Norris, Rambo, Commando. If you're from the 90s, you know who I'm talking about. And this version of me, coolest version I could think of, he would handle all the situations that I found trying. And over the years, this alter ego has evolved, and he was forced to evolve because every time I failed to put a boundary in place to speak up for myself, every time I failed to overcome a challenge, or if I quit something hard, I would try and remember these feelings of shame or feeling helpless and weak, and I would use it to create another layer of armor on top of my alter ego. So now, this version I have of him in my head, he's the one that turns up to work, he's the one that turns up in public. He has no trouble speaking to people, strangers, and confronting anything that happens in his life. Listen, I'm not a psychologist, so I don't know how healthy this is, but it's definitely been one of the most powerful tools in my life when it comes to overcoming anything or just taking action, making decisions. Me building up a tier is a direct reflection of me having this alter ego. He's the one who writes all my blogs. He's the one who decided at 43 that he was going to pursue this goal of building a storytelling brand on YouTube. Without that version of me, this wouldn't exist. The funny thing is that I can conjure up my Batman whenever I want him, but when it comes to pressing record and doing these talking head videos, this is the only place that he fails to turn up. And I've been trying to figure out why, and I think it's because in order for me to get the audience to trust me and to believe in and add credibility, I suppose, to Upper Tier as a brand, I had to document the build in public. That phase where I turned up the way I am turning up now, fumbling over my words, getting comfortable with, sitting in silence and keeping the mistakes in all my videos. So that's probably why. If you don't have an alter ego and you're trying to figure out what it feels like, I'll try and explain it the best way I can. If you can imagine a bird's eye view of yourself in a situation, and the only difference is that you are detached emotionally from what's happening. I hope that makes sense. Because the fear, the uncertainty, and doubt, it's still there. The consequences are real, but you're not emotionally invested in the moment. And so it makes it easier for you to make decisive and take decisive action. So that's what it feels like to have an alter ego. And if you've got one, you might be able to relate to it. So I don't know how healthy this is. I mean, I'm not a psychologist, so is this the best way to approach life? Don't know, but it's certainly been one of the best tools I've had in my arsenal, especially when it comes to just navigating everyday life and all that shit, So let us know, man. I'd be so interested to see how any of you guys out there, why you created your alter ego, how it's evolved over time, and where you use it in your life, And if you don't have one and you think that we're all crazy, those of us who do have one, then I don't blame you. Anyway, that's the yarn. The Batman effect, alter egos. If you got one, weaponize it. If you don't, I feel sorry for you. Thanks for watching.